We both hit the ground, and I just held her down, and I just told everybody that was around us just to stay down. We had a metal fence next to us, and you could hear all the bullets hitting off of it. I think if that metal fence wouldn't have been there, it would have been a lot worse for people around us.
A Kansas woman describes the terrifying moments a gunman shot at thousands of people at a country music fest in Las Vegas.
Tonight, we know at least 59 are dead and more than 500 people are hurt in the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history. We just learned between the suspect's home and hotel room, police found more than 3 dozen weapons. We have live reports from our crews in Las Vegas and right here in Wichita just ahead.
First, though, strong storms still moving across parts of Kansas tonight. The storms had produced a tornado warning and multiple severe thunderstorm warnings.
Chief Meteorologist Ross Jansen shows you what's happening right now. Ross?
Mike and Melissa, we still have some active weather tonight in Gove County, a county that's been hit very hard by strong thunderstorms tonight. And just as we come on the air, we're hearing from the emergency manager in Quinter reporting significant damage reported to some buildings. Now, we don't know exactly to what extent the damage involves and what kind of buildings are included in that report, but it's definitely a storm that we're still watching tonight. And there's another very strong thunderstorm coming right through the city of Gove, likely still producing some larger hail. That storm continues to move on to the northeast. And as we kind of expand the view, there's a possibility that that strong thunderstorm around Gove will be headed up into the Quinter area here shortly. I wouldn't be surprised if we're still getting at least some quarter-size hail out of this. Quinter gets set for another storm at about 10:30, 10:52. That storm coming through St. Peter. The other concern out there tonight, flash flooding. Take a look at the estimated rainfall totals from Doppler radar, and it wouldn't be a shock to see some rain gauges showing over 4 inches of rain. Northern Gove counties had several rounds of thunderstorms and still getting rain tonight. Strong thunderstorms continue around Hill City tonight. Could be some quarter-size hail and also wind gusts to 60 miles per hour. Also watching some strong thunderstorms in between Stockton and Phillipsburg tonight. And our last stop on the radar shows some strong thunderstorms from Oberlin down into northern Sheridan County around the Selden area. And those storms are moving on to the northeast at speeds of about 35 to 40 miles per hour. We're down to just about an hour left on a tornado watch for some counties in northwest Kansas that will likely expire on time. And I'll have an update on those storms that are out there coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Ross. Let's get back to the story we've been following all day. Here's the latest on the mass shooting in Las Vegas. Police found 19 guns in the suspect's home and 23 in the hotel room. They raided the 64-year-old's California home this afternoon, closing a 2-block stretch around the home. Investigators identified Stephen Craig Paddock as the shooter earlier today.
We still don't know what led him to open fire on the concert from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel. Tonight, Nevada's governor has signed a declaration of emergency for Clark County that directs all state agencies to help local officials in Vegas.
We continue our Team 12 coverage with our crews here in Kansas and in Nevada. Let's start with Jacob Albrocht, who joins us now live from Las Vegas. Jacob.
Mike, Melissa, Las Vegas has a different feel tonight. The tourists you can see behind me, they're out like they would normally be, but when you talk to the locals here, you can tell things are a little different. From a silent cab ride to the hotel from the airport to a sobbing hotel receptionist who had family at the concert last night, the locals here just trying to make it through the routine of today and get through as they have heavy emotions weighing on them. We've spent a lot of our day talking to Kansans coming to and leaving Las Vegas today, including one man's chilling account. He was just by where we are now at the MGM Grand, down from the Mandalay Bay about a mile when the shots were fired.
We just got out of the David Copperfield show.
Daniel Hine was with family at the MGM Grand playing slots after the show.
The housekeeping and the people at MGM Grand came through and said that there was just shooting outside.
What he saw after that, he'll never forget.
As we were being escorted or herded to the grand lobby of the MGM Grand, we saw people running through, all bloody. We met one lady who said that her child had been killed. Right, yeah, she had the child in her arms when it died, yeah.
Daniel says it was hard not knowing what was happening outside, and after about 30 minutes, the tension broke.
Don't know what happened. Who knows? Somebody might have dropped a cup or something like that. But everybody's scattered like ants.
He and his family ran outside.
Luckily, my family and we all stayed together, but now we're out in a closed, dead-end alleyway with huge concrete walls and tall buildings all around us. And honestly, I felt like a fish in a fishbowl.
Daniel says he and his family actually found an off-duty limo driver in the street who agreed to take them back downtown to their hotel. They're back in Derby tonight, home safely, but affected forever. Trevor Macy's also been talking to people, including travelers from Kansas, who decided to go ahead and take their trips out here to Las Vegas, despite what happened. He continues our Team 12 coverage.
As we made our way to Las Vegas today, we've been talking to people coming and going, many still shaken by what happened here last night. And when talking with people who live here, they tell us that tonight Las Vegas feels like a different place.
Last night, as we were on the strip, we didn't know what was going on because we seen people coming, and there was police officers with huge guns like this.
Before we boarded our plane from Wichita, we met passengers flying back from Vegas, with the shooting still fresh in their minds.
Should we hurry up and run? We were scared, so we're kind of just trying to hurry up and finish and go.
In the baggage claim at the Las Vegas airport, a video message asking for blood donations and for prayers for victims was a somber reminder of the events that unfolded.
I mean, this is a place, since my in-laws live here, I've always associated with something positive. So yeah, for something so horrific to happen in it, it's just devastating.
For Wichitans visiting Las Vegas, seeing the broken Mandalay windows as the plane landed set in the reality of what happened.
It makes it so real, seeing it and just, being here, it makes it so surreal.
In Las Vegas, Trevor Macy, Eyewitness News.
As we now sit just about a mile down Las Vegas Boulevard from Mandalay Bay, you can still tell things are different down here because there's many places closed inside some of the casinos as employees just need time to grieve. They're not open completely as normal for business, but Las Vegas if you've ever been here. This city doesn't sleep, and they'll continue going and picking up the pieces. Trevor Macy is going to continue our Team 12 coverage in the morning on Eyewitness News this morning, so look for his live reports, and we will be here all day tomorrow, again, telling the story of the people out here that are close to home to you in Kansas.
All right, thanks, guys. A Kansas woman who was at that concert is back home tonight. I talked to her during our 6 o'clock newscast about what she saw and how she stayed alive. What was supposed to be a fun girls' weekend for Ryan Ullman all came to an end when the first shot was fired. Ullman was in the middle of the crowd when at first she thought fireworks were going off. Then
we dropped to the ground. We were behind a metal railing, so we got down and just laid on the ground, and a couple of us huddled together and just laid as flat as we could.
She says every time they tried to move,
get down, get down.
More shots.
I feel like if it wasn't for that metal fencing there, we probably would have been hit. There were several people next to us that were standing and running that got hit, and we were laying down behind it.
And now, as she returns to Kansas, she's seeing the video and hearing the sound for the first time.
Hearing the gunshots was probably the hardest. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I can still hear it, so hearing them again just makes it louder.
Thank goodness for that metal railing. Did she see anyone get hit when she was taking cover?
She did. She watched what she said were several people hit. She didn't talk in detail. She just watching some of the video got upset. One thing we should point out, she said all the negative, there was a lot of positive when this happened as everyone there came together to help each other.
I'm sure a lot of things that are helping people through right now, including one of them praying for them. People are praying tonight for the families of those killed in Las Vegas and for the hundreds of people injured. Angela Monroe was at St. John's Episcopal Church in Wichita as they held a prayer service for the victims.
During this particular song, we heard this gunfire begin and decided to take cover. It felt like we were in a war zone.
You can see people start to realize what's happening and begin running across the festival grounds. Kevin Hare captured the video in Las Vegas as he and his wife hid under bleachers.
We just waited as the gunfire continued and continued and continued, and we were probably there about 10 minutes.
People bowing their heads in prayer here in Wichita, thinking of those lives lost and changed forever.
Ask God for protection, for guidance, for wisdom as to what do we need to do to stop this violence, what do we need to do to instill peace in people's hearts so that this doesn't happen as often as it's been happening.
The vigil was an opportunity for people to mourn and also seek solace.
Everyone feels frustrated, and no one knows what to do. But I'm glad that St. John's came together because you can always pray.
And that's what Hare says he will be doing, praying.
Horrible, just a tragedy that there are many people who survived, but there are many people who didn't, and we pray for all of those that were affected.
The Reverend here at St. John's Episcopal Church tells me that she had friends who were impacted by the hurricanes, and she said that they asked for prayer. And she says that that's something that everybody can do for this tragedy.
Angela, thank you. Let's take another look at the latest details of this mass shooting in Las Vegas. Police found 19 guns in the suspect's home and 23 more in his hotel room. They raided the 64-year-old's California home this afternoon, closing a 2-block stretch around the home. Investigators identified Stephen Craig Paddock as the shooter who killed at least 59 people and left at least 527 people hurt.
And again, we still don't know what led him to open fire on that festival from the 32nd floor of Mandalay Bay. Again, tonight, Nevada's governor signed that declaration of emergency for Clark County that directs all the state agencies there to help local officials in Vegas. Coming up, if you're struggling possibly about what to say to your kids about this shooting, a child psychologist shares some guidelines.
But first, leaders in Topeka make a decision that impacts your kids, what you need to know about school funding.
Expect more from KWCH 12. This is Eyewitness News at 10 in high definition. Online at kwch.com. Follow KWCH on Facebook and Twitter.